Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're just tuning in for the first time, please make sure you subscribe. Thank you all, I love you all. So my model for today is Emanuela, and we are going to be doing a full look today, a full nude look. So first off, I started by brushing her brows and also drawing a thin line underneath her brows. Then I picked up my pencil and also drew a thin line above her brows, making sure that the one above her brows meets with the one underneath her brows. You really have to do this with precision and it has to come out really nice. And then I also filled her in between her brows to make them look like she has enough hairs there. And then I used a lighter shade of concealer and traced this concealer underneath her brows. It has to blend so that it looks really nice. And then I also used a darker shade of concealer to trace above her brows, and then I blended. I also picked that same darker shade of concealer and made the beginning of her brows look very natural by cutting in between. And then for her eyes, on her transition area, I used a dark shade of brown and also purple. Then I picked my eye primer and traced it to form a curve on her eyes, because this is going to be a cut crease, so it has to really look beautiful and nice. Then I used a lighter shade of brown and also a darker shade of brown for her eyes. You have to do this very nice so that they come out very beautiful. My next step was to pick an eyeliner. I started by tracing this eyeliner from the middle of her eyes towards the sides of her eyes, and then I also formed a curve at the end of her eyes. And then I also applied false lashes for her with my glue, my eyelash glue. I used a darker shade of pencil, which is a black, and also a green underneath her eyes to make them pop. And then I also used a green eyeshadow underneath her eyes and a purple. Then I traced glitters underneath her eyes to make them look very nice and to make them pop, and silver eyeshadow at the middle of her eyes. Then my next step was to apply a face primer, to apply a face primer on her face to make her makeup last for a very long time. And then I applied a foundation which is the same skin tone with that of her skin, and also a concealer underneath her eyes, on her forehead and on her jaw. And then I traced the concealer underneath her contour area, and since she's a dark skinned person, I do not need so much drama, so I traced it and also made sure that I blended the whole thing at her highlight points. And then I applied a setting powder underneath her eyes, on her jaw and on her forehead and underneath her contour area. While waiting for my setting powder to bake, I made sure I applied a nude lipstick on her lips and also a glossy lipstick on her lips. You have to wait for your setting powder to bake for about 5 minutes before blending the whole thing out, so that was what I did. Then my next step was to apply a dark shade of concealer, a dark shade of contour on her cheeks, and also I contoured her nose. Then I applied a blush on her cheeks and an highlighter, and used my finishing spray on her. Thank you all for watching. If you love this look, please subscribe. I love you all. Bye.